Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be an exciting one because, as many of you know, if you're watching this video, there has been tons of negative hype on the Subculture palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. And the other day on Instagram, I saw NYX post a picture of one of their own eyeshadow palettes that looked like a dupe for the Subculture palette. The next day, went to Ulta and got the eyeshadow palette that looked like a dupe. So before we move into the demo of the NYX shadow palette, I want to talk about the differences between the two, and then we'll move into the demo. The NYX eyeshadow palette that I'm talking about is the Olive You Perfect Filter Shadow Palette. And at Ulta, it is $19.99, so 20 bucks. The Subculture palette is $42 on Sephora's website, and it only has 3 stars on Sephora, which is really low, but not surprising because a lot of people don't like it. I feel like I don't need the Subculture palette to do this video because a lot of people don't like it, so I don't want to buy it, but I will show pictures comparison between the NYX and the Subculture side by side so you guys can see the difference. The NYX palette has 10 eyeshadows and the Subculture has 14. So you do get 4 more shades with the Subculture palette, but from what I hear, it's not worth it. So there are 2 green shades in this palette, and there are 3 green shades in the Subculture palette. There's no like turquoise shade like the Subculture palette. This one just has maybe a khaki olive green and then a shimmery green. It does not have the turquoise color that the Subculture palette has. It does have a creamy beige color. It does have a pale. The Subculture palette has a shimmery bronze, and the NYX does as well. The Subculture palette also has that maroon shade, which the NYX palette has. There is a shimmery blue color in this NYX palette, which I guess you could consider the turquoise color in the Subculture palette, but the turquoise shade in the Subculture palette looks more vibrant than this does. This is just a kind of a muted blue. There's a green, a really light green shimmery shade that the NYX palette and the Subculture palette have. I heard that the one in the Subculture palette is not very pigmented at all, and so those are some of the shade comparisons next to each other. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, so I guess we're at the point in the video where we should just move on to the demo. I will go ahead and maybe zoom in a little bit so that you guys can see better how these shadows work. Okay, so you guys are zoomed in.
And I'm gonna get some coffee because, Lord, I am tired.
So I'm gonna use my janky ass wand that does not work. I need to get a new one. I don't know why I haven't gotten one yet. Like, look at this. Can you, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's just janky looking. It's not even a wand, really. I don't know what happened. I got a shitty batch of primer. I kind of want to do 2 different looks with this palette. One look on each eye. In eyeshadow palette reviews and stuff, you can't really... Most people only do the same look on both eyes because, I mean, that's typically what everyone does. But I figured it would be a good idea to kind of do 2 looks with this palette. Do one eye with the greens and the blues because that's the colors that I really never use. And it's really outside of my comfort zone, so I feel like if I use those on one eye and then use the warm shades on the other, because those are typically my favorite type of looks to wear, but I don't know because we'll see. I want to try one of these shimmery shades on my cheeks because I didn't put highlighter. And I figured that might look cool, but I didn't bring my brush. Let me get the brush. My brushes are not clean. Well, this highlighter brush is not clean. So I'm just gonna try to like rub the excess highlighter on my leg and then use one of these highlighting shades because it looks nice. I did swatch the light shimmery shades just to see if I would be able to use them as a highlighter. Okay, that one's too glittery. Okay, so this shade we're going to use as a highlight on the cheeks, and this one is glittery, so we're not going to use that. We're going to use this one. I don't even know if these have names. I don't think so. Now, the Subculture palette was very powdery, and I don't think that this one is very powdery. I'm like getting in there with the fan brush. Just a little bit, but not like too much. All right. Now it's kind of like a golden green tone. I can't tell if I like that or not. I don't know. Can you guys see? I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, I dug into the shadow. Oh my god. It looks like a pale blue green in the pan, but then you put it on and it turns a little greenish. I don't know, it looks different on the face than it does. Oh man, was that a frame for that? Lord have mercy. Let me put some more. I don't think that looks half bad. It's maybe a little too pigmented, but kind of looks nice. Okay, so we're done with that highlighting. I do like that as a highlight. It doesn't look so great on my texture, but it's still kind of nice. If you don't have textured skin, it'll look really good. So I don't know what kind of look I want to do with this. I really want to use the, oh, I need to set my eyes first. What am I doing? Let me set, okay, this is a little powdery. So I'm setting my eyes with this cream color. It is a little powdery, but I can't imagine that it's more powdery than the Subculture. I like always slouch, so every time I look up, I'm out of freaking frame. So I'm sorry. That's a little dark, but it works. That highlight looks really nice. Like, it looks pretty good. The only thing I will say about this palette is I don't like, you can't open it all the way. It gets like this. So I feel like eventually I'm gonna break it, and that sucks. I wish it bent all the way back. I'm gonna go in with this warm brown right here, taupey color, to the crease. This one's not as powdery. Oh, am I in frame? Jesus Christ, Becca, get it together. So that seems like a nice shade. Now I feel like I should go in with this green. We're gonna try it. I'm gonna go in with the matte green color in this palette on, I guess we're gonna do the lid. Ooh! Oh shit, we're gonna do the lid. Okay, wait, let me do a different brush. This one's kind of powdery. Oh, that's not as dark as I thought it was gonna be. It is a little powdery. I don't know if you guys can see. Now, I noticed in people's reviews of the Subculture palette that when blending two shades together, it makes a really weird color. Now, I know some people are trying to defend the Subculture palette and say that's what happens when you mix colors together. Color theory, come on. But, like, with other eyeshadow palettes, it doesn't make a crazy gray color. So, I just think people try to defend it. And when most eyeshadows aren't this difficult to use, I just think it's something with the formula, you know? I'm going to take another brush that had a little bit of green on it. And try to blend this out. I feel like this palette would be really nice for brown and hazel eyes. I like the green. I like it. We'll try that. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the shimmery green right here in the corner on the center of the lid. Oh, that's pretty dark. Okay, scratch that. Well, it's already there, so we're gonna leave it. But I'm gonna go in with the greenish glittery shade in this palette over the center to see. I'm hoping this is pigmented. We're gonna find out. It's not really showing up that much. Let me wet it. Let's see if that makes a difference. So I'm gonna wet the brush, and then hopefully this works. Oh yeah, way better. Ooh, that's glittery. That's pretty. Hopefully you guys can see. I like that. Like, I wish it was a little bit more pigmented. Because as I'm looking at it in the mirror, it's not that intense. Alright, so there's the green look. I don't know what I'm going to do on the bottom. I could go in with the red at the bottom. Let's do that. I should use a different brush. Oh well. Okay, so I ran out of storage and I had to take stuff out of my SD card. While that was happening, I used the warm shade right here in the crease in the other eye and started applying the maroon shade on my lid. I did zoom out because I noticed in the other clips I was super low and you guys couldn't see me. So I zoomed out hoping that you guys will be able to see better because I keep slouching to see in my mirror. So I will say this looks maroon in the pan and it kind of looks like a dark plum on the lid. But I'm going to keep applying that. I went ahead, we're going to do two different looks using the majority. I think we'll be using every color, almost every color in this palette, if not every color. So we're going to use two different looks. That way you guys can see all the shades on the lids, what they look like. This red maroon shade does have fallout. Okay, so I just blended out the maroon color, which is a dark plum on the lid. And I gotta say, it looks really, really pretty. Plum, dark purple plum shades are my favorite to wear. I think it's really flattering on brown eyes, and it's just one of my favorite colors to use. It blended really well with the warm transition shade that I used, and it blended really, really easily. It didn't make a really ugly color, so far so good. Over that, I want to use this golden shimmery shade right here and see how that looks because we have not used that color yet. So let's get into that. It looks really pigmented on the brush. Hopefully you guys can see that. And let's put it on the center of the lid. Ooh, that's pretty. That looks good, guys. Let's wet it because I feel like this is gonna look really good wet. This shade isn't super powdery, so shimmery shades aren't typically. Oh yeah. Oh my god, that looks so pretty.
So nice, you guys. Holy shit.
You guys, I love it. God, it's so nice. I don't know, I didn't have high expectations, but to be honest, NYX killed it with this palette. Honest to God, it's so good. Those look great together. Love it. Okay, so now let's do the under eye. I think I'm just going to keep it real simple. Do the same as I did over here. Use the same shades. So that looks good. I think I'm going to put liner and mascara on this eye, and then we'll do the inner corner and the brow bone. I did eyeliner, mascara, and put some falsies on. This one's still drying, so we're going to go ahead and do this eye. So this brush is stained from Halloween like 4 years ago, so ignore the stain. I can't get it out. So I'm going to go in with the shade that I used to highlight my cheeks, and it's kind of like a really pale mint color. So I'm gonna go in with that in the inner corner, dry first, which this is a little bit powdery, but dry first, and then we'll see how pigmented it looks. Pretty. You wouldn't have to wet it. Like, you really don't. I like this color because it's multi-use. You can use it as a highlight on the cheek if you want something a little bit different. And then it looks really good on the inner corner. I guess for the video sake, I will wet it. And then go in again with some more. Just to see if we get more payoff with it wet. Not that much. So it's just as pigmented dry. But that's really pretty, really brightens up the eye. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the same color on my brow bone. I think I'm gonna try this yellow shade first. It's shimmery. It's the one that I didn't really want to use on the lid in the center. So we're gonna go in with that dry. It looks kind of dark, but we're gonna just wing it and see. That's really pretty though. I think we'll use this for a base for the inner corner. I mean, that's nice. If you want something different, I think we're done. I guess let me zoom in and show you guys the final two looks. Okay guys, so that is the finished look. I gotta say, I really like this palette. I think it's really, really pretty. Honestly, it's so similar to the Subculture palette. And these are powdery a little bit. Some of the shades are a little powdery, but not overly to where I'm gonna think, oh my god, this is really powdery. It's normal for some eyeshadows. The matte ones in particular are the ones that tend to be powdery, but they are really pigmented and they blend really well together, and they don't make a weird color when you blend them together. I think they're really nice. They all work pretty well. The glittery shade isn't as pigmented dry. You kind of need to wet it to get the color payoff, but we literally used every shade in this palette. And I really like all of them. I like the green because it's different than what I'm used to, but it looks really pretty and it complements brown eyes really well. And I love this warm toned eye because that's my favorite kind of eye look to wear. I love this palette. I give this 2 thumbs up and I highly recommend it, especially if you wanted to try the Subculture palette but you heard all the really bad reviews on it. This is a really good dupe that works, and it's half the price. So give this a shot. Let me know if you guys like this. If you did enjoy the fact that I did 2 looks with the same palette, let me know, because I haven't seen a whole lot of people, I haven't seen anybody do this. So let me know if you guys want me to continue doing eyeshadow palette reviews in this format. Doing 2 different looks with the same palette. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and please subscribe before you leave. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys. Don't let me go. Don't let me go.
Don't